I'm going to tell you something about how to use TV within the combination of performance and viral marketing. So for those guys of you who do not know ProSiebenSat.1 games, I want to give you a short introduction because it may be that you have not heard about the latest news. In April, we have announced that we did the acquisition of Area Games, and we bought all operational game activities of Area, online and mobile, everything which is revenue generating. And that makes us the top 3 games publisher in Europe. Why did we do the acquisition? For us, it was a jump start in mobile. We have not been so strong in mobile before. That's something what we have to admit. So we tried it in our own hands, but we thought that in order to be quick and fast, that's something what you need in the mobile world. You need to do an acquisition, so that's one of the major reasons why we bought it. But we were also to achieve, or are able to achieve, substantial synergies. Area has best-in-class monetization systems, which we now plug into our games and also in future games that we are licensing. Together we have really unparalleled marketing power, online, viral, but also now with TV. And together also we are able to be really good in sourcing, because this gives us a good position when talking to Asian developers. So just to give you a short overview on the numbers, how we stand before and how we are now together. So just take a look at the right side. We are now 77 million users that we have. We are operating the games in 35 countries, and the number of licenses is now about 39, 40, but we have a huge lineup, so expect more to come, please. And as I said before, we had a jump start in mobile, so before we did about 3 to 4% in mobile on the revenue side, and now we are about on 25%. So now we are really an international company. International means outside of Asia, because we do not operate in Asia, but on the Western world we are everywhere, meaning that we are operating in North America, South America, and also in Europe. And as I said, we have 77 million users. Headquartered, we are now in Berlin, and we are also planning to open a rep office in Asia. That may be Seoul or Tokyo. We have not finally decided yet, but there's a high chance that we'll do that in Seoul. Just a short glimpse of the portfolio that we have. We are operating on a PC client, browser, and also mobile smartphone, mobile tablet. One of the probably more well-known franchises on our side are PlanetSide 2, but we also have Shire. Aura Kingdom is just a game that we have launched recently in January, February, which has been a huge success on the PC side. And we are having a larger lineup coming up for this year as well. Some highlights maybe for you that you know what kind of mobile games do we operate together with Area. Now we are very strong with Immortalis, which has achieved to be the top grossing charts number 3 in Germany, but also in France, very much advanced. And now, with the help of TV, we are able to promote it and drive the growth even more. So as you probably know, it's very hard to get into the top grossing charts. I will show you later on how to do it, or how you can do it, providing that you have the right game which is strong in monetization. So coming now to the main topic of the speech, how to get your games really up in the app stores. Sometimes it's a miracle, sometimes you don't really know it, but in a way you can plan it, or you can also structure it. But it's one of the hardest thing to do, to get into the App Store, to get into top grossing charts, but also to get in the top installs charts. But first you get into the top install charts. That's very important. And if you're there, then your game has to prove that it's strong enough to monetize, to make revenues, and then it's more or less a game that you can continue to fuel, because then you have the financial resources if you're top grossing. But in general, it's really the situation that you have an overcrowded marketplace. When you look in the App Store, you see tons of games. Really, it's 10,000 in Germany, and if you combine all the games worldwide together, you're probably some in the region of a 6-digit figure. And everybody has a little app. You know, the barriers of entry are very low, but only a few apps, and that's a phenomenon. If you look into the charts in Germany, in France, in Italy, or in America, sometimes it's really the same. It's Candy Crush, it's Clash of Clans, it's Top 11, etc. So the question is how to differentiate your game and how to make it better being discovered and enabling discovery. That is, I think, the real vital way to success, because if you can make it happen, that users find your game and the game is good enough, then it's the next step is an easier one to get into the top crossing ones. So we have 3 points that we would like to highlight on what is important for the game discovery. Let me start with point number 3. I think that's like a hygiene factor. Provide easy access to the game. Provide it on multi-platforms. Provide it on Android, on iOS, tablet, and smartphone. But also, if you go to Android, you have various devices. So try to make it sure that you have 70 to 80% reach coverage, and provide also rankings of features. Or with the features, you also try to get into the rankings and provide various languages. That's very important. So you're also international. So don't start just with one language alone. You can do that in the test market, but go if you want to go global, if you want to go internationally, try to start with as many languages as possible. Point number 2, give the users the possibility to learn about more about the game. Provide information. The best thing is also to get expert reviews, to be covered on online and traditional print news, for example. Get also recommendation. That's a very strong tool because you automatically rank higher if you get a high number of good recommendations and build up your reputation. That's very important. If you have all that, then you can go into the marketing. And within the marketing space, there are various instruments that you can use. Advertising in general, so you can do mobile advertising, performance advertising, you can do display advertising, use also Facebook, for example. The volume is important, and also try, if you have the possibility, if you have partners or if you have already apps in the App Store that are strong enough, try to use also cross promotion, so within one game to the other game that you are able to feature your game. Try to get virality. I think viral features are very vital and very essential that are on the one side embedded into the game, but also make use of them by linking them to Facebook, by using the social viral hooks that you probably all know, and very important, build trust for the game. So if you have these 3 combinations, then it's not really the way that you're lifting it up to the success. So the question is, how do you get to the tipping point? So what is the tipping point? It's the moment of the critical mass where you get to the boiling point where really it takes off, where it becomes a phenomenon, a mass phenomenon. And what I told you before, if you have 1, 2, and 3, you let the users hear about the game, you learn and get them, provide them easy access to the game, then you're in the middle. But what is the way on how to get to the tipping point, how to make an analogy to the chart here, how to take the plane, how to make the plane take off. We think that TV can help you to reach the tipping point. Why? It's not that expensive actually, because with the increased performance marketing cost, it's always very comparable, but TV has a lot of benefits. You can instantly, if you have the right media strategy, you get a fast growth of installs immediately. You can boost your game into the charts within 2-3 days. And that's very important, and you can do that without having incentivized traffic, meaning that the quality of users can be much, much better if you buy, for example, incentivized traffic. As you know, the consumer packaged industry is doing that for a long time. You can increase or build your brand equity. You get the long-term awareness about the game, you can build a brand. And TVs are, if you take the major channels, for example, are trusted channels, and they can build emotions and really give you also the hook to get into the viral system, and it has positive long-term effects, midterm and long-term effects. And overall, it increases also the metrics. On the CTR side, click-through rates, for example, you get higher word-to-mouth effects, and definitely higher App Store installation rates, because if you have the right push, then it really brings you immediately into the top rankings of the top installs. And as I said, there's also high likelihood, if you have the right channel, if you hit the right audience, that the quality of users that you're acquiring is pretty good, and they're not incentivized. So how to do that, and I brought some examples for the German market, how we did it. So I'll give you an example first of 3 games that we ourselves are operating, but also then 2 examples of major franchises that you all know, Clash of Clans and Candy Crush, but let me start first with Heroes War. That's an RPG game that we are operating. We have started that last fall. Then Golf Star, which is a mobile golf game, really good, and a boxing game. Okay, the problem right now is that the movie is not showing, so I'm not able to show you the spot, which is actually not good because it would have been a good example to show it to you. But then let me try to just continue by trying to tell you about how we did it. We started Heroes War by, on the one side, letting it seed with some performance marketing, and then started to show the TV ads, and that was the statistic on what impact it had. It shot us immediately into the top 10 rankings within games. It was number 2. That was in December of last year, and we tried to sort of filter out the effects on what we did on the performance side as well. But now you can see that it has a real spike up in the air, and that is, I think, very good, and shows that with TV you can have the power to push your game to the app stores. Second example I would like to show you is Golf Star, but I believe that it's not working as well. Yeah. So that's a golf game that has already been in the market for a while. It never really made it into the top 10 rankings. So when we started partnership, we immediately made a TV commercial, a TV spot, and then put it live on our channels. And as you can see, also there it really spiked up, and we got a really high number of installs, and made it also in the top 20 top grossing rankings. So this is an example, or gives you an overview of the statistics, which we have taken out of App Annie. So before you see that on the overall rankings or installs, we did not do so well. But when we started the partnership with Come to Us, and it was already, as I said, a game being in the App Store. And when we started TV, it immediately also lifted us up into the overall installs rankings, but also in the other charts for the games charts, sport charts, but also simulation. The third example is a box game, and that's something what we started as well by we reconfigured the game by putting our brand, an IP on it, which is a famous sports brand in Germany. Put that together with a boxing game, and then started with TV. And there, as you can see, it immediately shoots you to number 1, here in number 4, sorry. And as I said, TV is really powerful if you use it the right way. I wanted to show you now, I would like to have shown you an example of how others do it. For example, also the big games developer and publishers like Supercell are doing now TV commercials, and they used, or what they did, they tried the most expensive time spot that you can use in the US, showing a spot during the Super Bowl. And that's really, really expensive. I think that it has probably cost them more than $1 million just for, I think, 10 or 20 seconds. It did not have such an effect on the smartphone side, but if you take a look at the iPad version, that really grew, and it already, that's something what you have to consider. It already had a strong, Clash of Clans has already a very strong position since they are among the top 5 top grossing charts for many months now. But really, they use TV as a means in order to also try to reach the kind of users that have not touched so far on the one side, but also to increase long-term awareness. I would like to have shown you also the spots that King has been doing lately for Candy Crush. They are now really aggressively using TV, not only in Europe, but also in the US, and also in Asia. There's also a very, very interesting Japanese commercial, and I would like to have shown you the also difference in how they did it in Asia, in Japan versus America, but unfortunately I'm not able to show it to you. But if you have questions, you can come up to me, and I'll try to show it on my laptop. So how do you do the TV media planning process? I think that's very important because it's a very structured approach and something what you have to consider. So on the one side, really carefully select and think about how you do your briefing. Because it's very important on what is the targets group, for example, get also a good feeling about the market overview, who's your competitor, are they already doing a TV, and how aggressively are they on the way on the performance marketing side. Do the right media selection, that's very important. And the media selection also considers or takes into consideration which channels, which TV channels. Because there are channels that are more have a higher affinity for the female audience, for example, the other one for the kids, for example, and another one maybe for female. And so it's very important to be really sure about your own audience and how that fits on the channel, on the TV channel side. Then try to really think about your media strategy, in which frequency is it good to show your spots, and which daytime, for example. And based on that, you develop a media plan and then start showing the TV spots and TV commercials on TV. And very important then, go into the statistics, analyze very carefully the campaigns, control it. What was the ROI? Was it profitable? What effects you see? And based out of that, do your learnings and then reuse it for further campaigns and TV promotions. At the end, it's not that easy. I think it's a very useful and powerful instrument, and we have shown in the past that TV can really push you up on the install side. But it's very important that you have cost controlling by, you should know your numbers, really know your KPIs, the DAUs, the outposts, and the lifetime. Very important. You should really be very confident on your lifetime value. You should know it because that's at the end the calculation that you have to do, how many installs you get, and are you able to have the calculation that the investment is lower than the LTV. Try to also get a view on the production costs, because TV production costs can be high, and you also need to have also variation of TV spots, because it does not make sense if you show constantly over, let's say, a period of 2 months always the same spot. If you don't have experts in-house on the media planning side, that's very important, because that's sometimes really a science, academic science. Try to get experts. There are agencies who can help you, but also there are freelancer experts. But if you're not really confident that you can do it yourself, then try to get external help. And also shop for the best prices, because on the one side there are various, depending on the territory you're operating, there are various TV channels, so you can ask them about the lists, get good rebates and discounts, and try to get the best price for you. So how much does it cost? I cannot give you details about it because it varies from TV channel to TV channels, but in general you are being charged and billed by the CPM, so only a very few TV stations offer to go via performance marketing, so you can really compare it to the performance marketing, traditional performance marketing on the mobile side. You should consider seasonality, because, for example, in the summertime it's probably cheaper than compared to the Q4, where we have Christmas and everybody is doing marketing and also doing TV promotion. So, and as I said, try to get good discounts, because if you have a certain volume, then you can negotiate it. And if you know, for example, that in certain daytimes or in certain seasonalities, the prices are lower than, or the inventory is lower, then you can, then you're able to really negotiate good discounts. If you do the TV commercials and campaigns, you should take into consideration the duration. How long the spot is, for example, when do you show it, which daytime, and also try to combine it with variations. Very important is that you hit the right audience, because in the early morning time the audience is mostly different, for example, to the evening time, or if you have the prime time around between 6 to 8, audiences might really make the difference. And as I said, try to have a very selected media plan that fits your needs, but also your audience, and try to be flexible and have various commercial spots. So I wanted to draw your attention to the next games that we are bringing out. This is, we have, as you know, the largest event in the world this year is the World Soccer Cup in Brazil. So what we have done is that we will bring out a mobile football manager called Goal One that will start in June this year, right before the World Soccer Cup. And the second one is we'll bring out a football quiz because we have seen, for example, that in the US and also in Europe, the quiz theme has become very popular. There's RanDuell in Europe and quiz up in the US, and we think having a very vertical targeted approach on quiz by fitting it to the largest event of this year makes sense. So that's what we do, and that's how it looks like. And now I'm done. So if you have further questions, thank you very much for the attention. I'm open and easy.